Lin Chen traveled to a courtyard in the 5th or 3rd year, and his only relative, his grandfather, passed away. Lin Chen was preparing to take up his post. However, entering the political review stage, he was instigated by Yi Zhonghai to report that his grandfather had been imprisoned by Jia Zhangshi. Jia Dongxu. Your grandfather has a record of being in prison before, so hurry up and give up your position, kid. Jia Zhang. If you don't have a job, you will starve to death in the 49 cities. Why don't you give up your house and go back to the countryside? Yi Zhonghai. Your grandfather is guilty of colluding with the enemy and betraying the country. Even if he was born as a poor farmer, it's useless. We can't keep you in this courtyard. Lin Chen will lose his post, his house will be occupied, and even more so, he will be driven to the countryside. At this moment, the review results were announced, leaving the entire hospital dumbfounded. The file shows that Grandpa Lin Chen was imprisoned before the founding of the People's Republic of China and was charged with colluding with the Communist Party. Political Review Leader. Old Comrade, I'm sorry we're late. Street Office Director. Having served in one's own prison is a stain, having served in the enemy's prison is the greatest political capital. Lin Chen. Blackies, you've run out of blood and not as red as my family. Yi Zhonghai, Jia Zhangshi, Jia Dongxu, and a group of other reported animals immediately sweated profusely. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Reported on duty, grandfather has served in prison. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Reporting on duty, Grandpa has been in prison. Seeking collection, in December 1953, it was 49 cities. Number 95 Nanluoga Lane, Siheyuan. The cold wind is piercing, and heavy snow is flying. At this moment, in a residence house in the front yard, Lin Chen's mood was as cold as this weather. The marriage was intercepted. Grandpa also passed away at this time. The only relative has left. Leave only oneself as an orphan. According to his grandfather, Lin Chen's parents sacrificed their lives in the early years of the anti-Japanese war, as well as his grandfather's other children, all of whom are said to have sacrificed themselves. When I was in Chongping, my hometown, my grandfather said a marriage for Lin Chen, who had just reached adulthood. That person is also from Chongping. It's Qin Huairu, the granddaughter of Qin Laomua from the neighboring Qin family village. Because Qin Laomua and his grandfather Lin Ping were both poor peasants when they were young, working in the same landlord's house and forming a friendship. Just as Grandpa was preparing for Lin Chen's marriage in the countryside, Qin Huairu, who despised poverty and wealth, wanted to marry into the city and was met by Jia Dongxu, who entrusted a matchmaker for a blind date. Jia Dongxu heard that Qin Huairu was preparing for a marriage and immediately begged an old man named Yi Zhonghai in the yard. Yi Zhonghai decisively invested money and effort to help Jia Dongxu cut off his beard in advance for his retirement. After seeing Jia Dongxu's urban household registration, as well as the promised sewing machine and dowry, Qin Huairu immediately abandoned Lin Chen, who was still in the countryside. This marriage has gone wrong. Grandpa Lin Ping, in a fit of anger, also left the countryside and surprisingly joined the logistics department of the 49th City Public Security Bureau. And Lin Chen also followed his grandfather to the city. Unexpectedly, on the enemy road section, they also moved into the courtyard at number 95. From then on, he became a thorn in the eye and a thorn in the flesh of the Jia family. Endless exclusion in the yard. However, within 2 years, my grandfather suddenly passed away due to critical illness. Before passing away, Grandpa asked Lin Chen to take over his position, pay attention to the animals in the yard, protect himself, and live well. After digesting this information, Lin Chen, who had traveled through time, became somewhat silent. Unexpectedly dressed in a courtyard world full of birds, and still regretting marriage and starting with an orphan. According to the old man's last wish, Lin Chen went to take up his post at the logistics department of the 49th City Public Security Bureau, which was his grandfather's unit before his death. The onboarding procedures were handled smoothly. As long as he passes the political review, he can be assigned a job position by the logistics department of the sub-bureau. This is a cadre position. A position that everyone envies. Moreover, Lin Chen's mind also indicated that as long as the onboarding is successful, the storage space and upgrade panel system will be activated. While Lin Chen was daydreaming about a better future, he suddenly received a notice. There are issues with the political review, which need to be addressed at the political review office of the 49 Qing branch. Because Lin Chen was reported by someone. The content of the report is that Lin Chen's grandfather Lin Ping has been imprisoned and has a criminal record. Political review for 3 generations. Generally, it refers to the grandparents, parents, and brothers and sisters. Lin Chen's grandfather is currently under review. If there are indeed problems with the political review, then there is basically no hope of taking up the position. And this matter somehow spread out, and now many people in the sub-bureau, even the neighbors in the Red Star Courtyard, know about it. Everyone is discussing, and many people secretly mock, curse, and gloat. This is the reason why Lin Chen's mood became cold. Lin Chen carefully recalled that in his own memory, his grandfather had never been imprisoned. If my grandfather had been imprisoned before, he wouldn't have been able to enter the logistics department of the sub-bureau himself, and there is no such thing as being on duty now. So, this cannot be justified at all. This must be these beasts in the courtyard full of birds, stabbing knives in the back to report it. Lin Chen, who had traveled through time, was well aware of the beasts and animals in the courtyard. A hypocrite with high moral standards, easily accessible to the sea, ambitious and talented, with a strong addiction to officialdom. They loved to take advantage of Yan Bugui, lick the dogs wore God's silly pillar, White Lotus Flower Qin Huai Ru, sharp and sarcastic Jia Zhang family. None of them are fuel-efficient lamps. It could be Yi Zhonghai. It is also possible that it is the Jia family who sees themselves as a thorn in their side. Maybe it's one of them who wants to take down my position and tarnish my reputation as an orphan. Finally, he occupied the Lin family's house and drove me, an orphan, out of the courtyard. Malicious. Too vicious. Lin Chen cursed fiercely in his heart. We must go to the political review office of the sub-bureau now to see what the situation is. Lin Chen tightened his clothes, pushed open the door, and walked into the snowstorm. It's that kid Lin Chen. I'm afraid he'll be suspended from his post this time. If these people are all allowed to take up their posts, what about us who have good ingredients? This is unfair. You're right. I don't know who reported it, that's great. The Lin family is really brave. How dare they take up their positions with such a case record? I don't know how they used to conduct political trials. In the wind and snow, waves of foul language came from. Like an ice blade, it made Lin Chen's whole body even colder. Lin Chen gritted his teeth. I straightened my spine. In the headwind, his figure appeared even more upright. 10 o'clock in the morning. The Political Review Department of the 49 Qing Branch Bureau. The scene was very serious. In front of Lin Chen, there were actually 6 people sitting. There are Director Huang of the 49 Qing Branch and Deputy Director Zhao of the branch who interviewed him. And in the middle sat Minister Wang, the highest leader of the Political Propaganda Department. In addition, there were actually 2 military officers standing beside them. Next to him is Director Wang from the Nanluo Guxiang Street office. Lin Chen frowned. Such a big battle. The Minister of Political Propaganda Department. 2 branch bureau directors. 2 more officers. Grandpa. Did he really go to jail? Even if he had been in prison and had a record, he wouldn't have had such a big battle. There is a situation here. Lin Chen, do you know why I called you over? Deputy Director Zhao of the Sub-Bureau who interviewed Lin Chen spoke up. Lin Chen nodded. I know, someone has reported false accusations and said there were issues with my political trial. False accusation. Minister Wang and Director Huang of the Sub-Bureau sat in the middle and spoke in unison. Subsequently, Director Huang respectfully signaled Minister Wang to ask first. Minister Wang smiled slightly and signaled to Lin Chen to continue with a soft gaze. That's right, it's just a false accusation. Back then, I followed my grandfather from the countryside to the Courtyard house and opened a letter of introduction from the village to register and review with the Military Control Committee. My grandfather had no criminal record. So, there was no mention of being imprisoned. Lin Chen directly expressed his own thoughts. Of course, he also knew that these people from the Political Review Department could be traced. He doesn't understand why they still call him over. Is there anything else I don't know? Minister Wang smiled kindly. Lin Chen, those files you mentioned are all from the Military Control Commission, and there are also some sealed files, do you know? Seal the file. Lin Chen's face changed. Surprisingly, there are real variables. And? Or is it a sealed file? Can it be said that my grandfather really went to jail? Have you committed a crime? Surprisingly, it is still sealed. This matter is probably too big. Lin Chen felt a bit nervous inside. Subsequently, Lin Chen saw Minister Wang take out a quaint paper file. And on the cover of the file, there is indeed a capital letter seal, and there are actually some cherry blossom characters from Shao Ri on it. P.S. New book, has anyone read this topic? Kneel down and beg the masters to collect. Kneel down and beg for 500 fresh flowers. A reward. Kneeling for evaluation votes. Kneeling down for a monthly pass. Kneeling down for book reviews. The new book period data is crucial for the life and death of this book, and it is very important. Boss, you must vote. If it's really not possible, just click in the comments section. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Sealing archives. The charges are shared. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Sealing archives. The charges are shared. Seeking collection, seal files. Cherry blossom script for little days. Surprisingly, it's still related to childhood. Lin Chen's heart once again raised his throat. Lin Chen, according to the investigation of the sealed archives, your grandfather Lin Ping did indeed go to jail and has a record. Minister Wang spoke slowly. Boom. Lin Chen's mind exploded instantly. Surprisingly, this ending is really the case. Grandpa actually went to jail before. Are you going to fail when taking on the job? The system cannot be turned on. Also, did the person who reported it know to seal the file? How could this be possible? Since it is a sealed file, how can ordinary people know? Lin Chen is unwilling to accept it. He wants to know what's going on. Leader, what exactly did my grandfather commit? Lin Chen must ask clearly. This is related to one's own job responsibilities and system startup. We have sealed several files, but currently we have only received the first one that has been unsealed. The cases your grandfather is involved in are very big. Let me put it this way, most of them involve state secrets before the founding of the country. Lin Chen widened his eyes. Despair seemed to appear in his eyes. Surprisingly involving state secrets. Why did Grandpa commit such a big case? How did he hide so well? Have you never told yourself before? Are you afraid of losing face? Maybe. Right. At this moment, Minister Wang seemed to have also seen Lin Chen's expression. Then he gave a slight smile. Her gaze softened as she continued to speak. Today we called you over. On the one hand, it was to inform you that there were indeed issues with the political review, and on the other hand, it was to notify you that you have passed your appointment and can start working. The words of the political review leader left Lin Chen somewhat confused. What? Can I join the company after passing the onboarding process? No, isn't there a problem with my political review? Grandpa has been in prison, has a record, and is also involved in a major state secret case. Those who have issues with political review cannot take up their positions. Can I still be employed? What's going on here? Lin Chen felt that his brain was not enough. That's right. Lin Chen, you completed the onboarding procedures yesterday. On behalf of the 49 Qing branch, I welcome you to join. Deputy Director Zhao of the nearby sub-bureau smiled and spoke kindly. However, you will have to wait for a month until the 1st of next month before you can officially start working. Moreover, due to your young age and experience, it is currently difficult for you to enter the sub-bureau. We will arrange for you to report to the logistics department of the Nanluo Guxiang police station and take up your position then. Director Huang of the nearby sub-bureau also smiled and nodded at Lin Chen. Very kind. Lin Chen looked bewildered. Is this a notice of onboarding? But, leader. It's not that there's a problem with the political review. My grandfather has been in prison and has a record, right? When Lin Chen mentioned his grandfather, the two silent officers across from him couldn't help but straighten their bodies and show a respectful expression on their faces. Even Minister Wang of the Political Propaganda Department, as well as the two bureau directors and Director Wang of the Street Office, showed deep respect in their eyes. Lin Chen, it's a long story about your grandfather's imprisonment. I'll have Colonel Ho from the confidential archives of the Political Review Office tell you. Minister Wang pondered for a moment and spoke up. Colonel. Lin Chen couldn't help but marvel. Those who came today are all high-ranking officials. Minister Wang quickly handed the sealed archives to the two military officers with the national character face on the side. The colonel carefully opened the sealed file with a national face. Seems very cautious. This made Lin Chen a little uneasy. Can we say that this involves state secrets? Presumably guessing Lin Chen's inner thoughts, Colonel Ho smiled slightly. Lin Chen, this is a confidential archive that was sealed before the founding of the People's Republic of China. It is now after the founding of the People's Republic of China and can be lifted. Lin Chen suddenly felt relieved. File number 001. Regarding the investigation of Lin Ping, the secretary of the Sakura Imperial Association's military aircraft, who is suspected of leaking secrets to the Communist Party, the case is as follows. Colonel Ho is holding the sealed file. Sitting upright and speaking confidently. Bang! Just spoke up. Lin Chen's brain suddenly exploded. The Sakura Emperor Alliance. A confidential secretary. Suspected of colluding with the Communist Party. Leakage. Tonggong. How does it feel that something is wrong with this accusation? Lin Chen was completely confused. Heard about Grandpa's imprisonment case. First reaction. The Cherry Blossom Emperors Association military plane needs a secretary, so it must have colluded with the enemy and betrayed the country. That's it. Second reaction. Collaborating with the enemy and betraying the country is not wrong, because this is the original document of the Imperial Alliance Army. However, whether it is the Communist Party or before the founding of the country, it is now confirmed. It's big enough. Grandpa, you don't have to scare people like that. If my heart is not good, it will ruin the only grandson of the Lin family. What are you saying about such a glorious family? You've been hiding it for a lifetime, not even mentioning your own grandson. What is this? Are you hiding anything else? Isn't it just going to jail? We are sitting in the enemy's prison. And it's still a communist party. In this world where red flags are everywhere, this can be a primary stock. And, the stamp proof from the enemy. Absolute root and seedling red. Not only Lin Chen was shocked, but also Minister Wang, the two directors, officers, and Director Wang across from him all sat upright, with admiration in their eyes. Subsequently, Colonel Ho continued reading. P.S. New book, has anyone read this topic? Kneel down and beg the masters to collect. Kneel down and beg for 500 fresh flowers. A reward. Kneeling for evaluation votes. Kneeling down for a monthly pass. Kneeling down for book reviews. The new book period data is crucial for the life and death of this book, and it is very important. Boss, you must vote. If it's really not possible, just click in the comment section. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Comrades, I'm sorry we're late. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Comrade, I'm sorry we're late. Seeking collection, Comrade Lin Ping, born in 1895 in Chongping, 49 cities, was born as a poor farmer and raised several children to work in agriculture from a young age. In response to the call of workers and peasants in 1927, he secretly joined the faith. In 1931, codenamed Sparrow, he served as the secretary of the Sakura Emperor Association's military aircraft. Lin Ping was ordered to infiltrate and hide for 10 years, leaking 489 important military intelligence. In February 1941, intentionally creating Japanese and puppet false intelligence, causing our Japanese and puppet armies to be surrounded and annihilated by 20,000. The losses were devastating. In March 1941, the Lin Ping incident occurred and he was imprisoned in the Sakura Imperial Association prison, serving his sentence on charges of colluding with the Communist Party, leaking secrets, treason, and sentenced to death. Upon hearing this, Lin Chen's hair stood on end. There is too much information in this. Respond to the call of workers and peasants, secretly join the faith. And code name Sparrow, ordered to infiltrate. Underlying for 10 years, leaking 489 important military intelligence pieces. Lying trough. Grandpa was so awesome back then. Isn't this the top undercover agent of our party? What's even more impressive is, in February 1941, intentionally creating Japanese and puppet false intelligence, resulting in the encirclement and annihilation of 20,000 Japanese and puppet troops. With one's own efforts, 20,000 Japanese and puppet troops were besieged and annihilated. This can be boasted about for a lifetime. Finally, he was found imprisoned. Accused of colluding with the Communist Party, leaking secrets, and treason. This accusation can completely glorify our ancestors and the Lin family's reputation. Upon hearing this, not only Lin Chen, but also Minister Wang and others beside him, who were already aware of the matter, were still shocked and showed great respect in their eyes when they listened again. Subsequently, Colonel Ho spoke again. Later, our party rescued Comrade Lin Ping and arranged other tasks. This period of history, out of protection for him, requires him to bury his name in seclusion and seal his experience as a confidential file. However, it has been several years since the founding of the country, and the enemies of the past have already died. The Sakura Imperial Association prison no longer exists. Therefore, this sealed file can now be made public. Of course, this is only a part of the files I can see. The other sealed files are somewhat damaged and some are being repaired. Once the repair is completed, the seal can be opened. Hear this. Lin Chen couldn't help but nod, I see. Is there a problem with the political review? Grandpa has been in prison before. The charges are shared. Having served in one's own prison is a stain, but having served in the enemy's prison is the greatest capital of justice. This charge can be blown away for a lifetime. At this point, Minister Wang suddenly spoke with great interest. Lin Chen, may I ask what you thought when you learned that Grandpa Lin Ping was not a major criminal, and even a heroic senior who was grateful to the country? After listening to Minister Wang's words, the two directors and Colonel Ho on the side also looked over. Lin Chen's spine is straight. Speak with a resolute and sincere expression. Since Grandpa came back, our grandfather and grandson have been relying on each other. My grandfather has never told me about these things. I never expected that after my grandfather passed away, I would realize that he was actually a great hero. This makes me very regretful, but it also makes me proud. However, Grandpa is Grandpa, I am me. His credit belongs to him and has nothing to do with me. I just want to pass the political review, work hard on my own, and contribute my strength to the country and the people. My grandfather is my life goal, and I hope to emulate him and become a great hero in my lifetime. Hear Lin Chen's answer. Minister Wang took the lead in applauding. The others also thundered with applause. Truly worthy of being the descendants of the old hero. Having a high level of consciousness and not lying on the credit books of our ancestors is amazing. At this moment, Major Ho took out a black and white photo of Lin Ping serving his sentence with handcuffs and ankle shackles from the sealed archives. Hand it to Lin Chen. This photo of your grandfather is for you to remember. Lin Chen immediately respectfully received the precious treasure with both hands. In the photo, Lin Ping is middle-aged, with broken clothes and bloodstains all over his body. He is wearing handcuffs and ankle shackles in a miserable state. However, his posture is very upright. With a smile on his face. My eyes sparkle like stars. And Lin Chen also has a 7-point resemblance to his grandfather in the past, with a resolute and handsome face that is unparalleled. At this moment, Minister Wang of the Ministry of Political Propaganda couldn't help but sigh as he looked at the photo of Lin Ping serving his sentence. Old comrade, I'm sorry we're late. Subsequently, Minister Wang, along with 2 branch bureau directors and 2 colonel officers, stood up at the same time and solemnly saluted the photo of Lin Ping serving his sentence. And Director Lin Chen and Director Wang immediately stood up and saluted deeply. On the way back, Lin Chen's mood couldn't calm down for a long time. Holding a photo of his grandfather serving his sentence, Lin Chen felt a little trembling. Grandpa is so amazing. This will be my lifelong role model. And the guy who secretly reported himself probably never expected this outcome. He thought reporting me would make me lose my job, damage my reputation, and force me back to the countryside. But I didn't expect to receive the onboarding notice instead. If the other party knows, they may collapse and vomit blood, right? Lin Chen was filled with anticipation in his heart. At this point, the wind and snow had already stopped. After walking for half an hour, Lin Chen has walked to Nanluogu Lane Hutong. We are about to reach the entrance of Courtyard 95. At this moment, Lin Chen vaguely heard many people discussing at the entrance of the courtyard, all of whom were the voices of their neighbors. Lin Chen immediately stopped. Listen attentively. Did you see it before? Lin Chen from the front yard went to the political review office again, and this time that position is definitely not guaranteed. I didn't expect that old man Lin Ping was so low-key in the yard before. I didn't expect that he had even been to jail before and had a case record. I don't know how Lin Ping conducted the political review back then. At that time, just after the founding of the People's Republic of China, the political review system was not complete, which may have taken advantage of loopholes. From this perspective, is this family having ulterior motives? Moreover, if Lin Chen goes to the Public Security Bureau as well, it would be a threat to society if the upper beam is not upright and the lower beam is crooked. No, we should investigate carefully. Maybe the whole family has committed crimes. The loudest voices inside are Jia Zhangshi, Jia Dongxu, and Lu Haizhong. Moreover, there are suspicions of causing commotion among a few people. Upon hearing this, Lin Chen's eyes were cold and piercing. As expected. There are these few beasts. Maybe they reported it. P.S. New book, has anyone read this topic? Kneel down and beg the masters to collect. Kneel down and beg for 500 fresh flowers. A reward. Kneeling for evaluation votes. Kneeling down for a monthly pass. Kneeling down for book reviews. The new book period data is crucial for the life and death of this book, and it is very important. Boss, you must vote. If it's really not possible, just click in the comment section. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. The Old Fox Reveals Its Tail. Seeking Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. The Old Fox Reveals Its Tail. Seeking collection. At this point, Lin Chen suddenly heard the voice of Yi Zhonghai. I don't think it's as serious as everyone says. Perhaps Lin Chen's grandfather, Lin Ping, had a hidden agenda and had to resort to committing a crime. Moreover, his elderly family has passed away, let's speak less and accumulate some virtue for him. Yi Zhonghai just finished speaking. I heard praise from my neighbors. Mr. Yi is really kind. That old man Lin Ping has committed such a thing, why do you speak for him? He truly deserves to be the moral model of our courtyard house. Grandpa, you can't use a gentleman's belly to show off a villain's heart. Lin Ping is a criminal and will be imprisoned. A master is kind-hearted, he can't do it for me. Yi Zhonghai laughed heartily. Everyone is praising me. Who makes me an old man? I must wholeheartedly protect the rights and interests of the neighbors in the yard. As for Lin Chen's resignation, it definitely won't work. Maybe he will also be implicated and investigated. But this position can't be vacant, let me see. It's better to leave it for someone suitable in our yard. Say it. Yi Zhonghai looked at Jia Dongxu imperceptibly. If I help my apprentice Dongxu change to a cadre position again, wouldn't the Jia family be grateful to death? Retirement is not a matter of heart and soul. Upon hearing this, Jia Zhangshi, Jia Dongxu, and Qin Huairu immediately expressed their complete agreement with the opinion of Mr. Yi. And the second uncle Lu Haizhong and the eldest son Lu Guangqi on the side, upon hearing the vacant positions, also looked delighted. The three masters Yan Bugui and Yan Jicheng were also drooling. Lu Haizhong quickly flattered Yi Zhonghai. That's not just an old man's word. In short, we must follow in the footsteps of an old man and fight wherever he points out. That's right, I firmly stand in line to support Mr. One. Lu Guangqi immediately raised his hands and sang praises. The master has a broad vision, and our Yan family also approves with both hands. Yan Bugui and Yan Jicheng also immediately showed their goodwill. The eldest sons of the Lu and Yan families have reached the age to look for jobs. If they can obtain this cadre position, then they should wait for good days in the future. Lin Chen sneered coldly. Yi Zhonghai truly deserves to be a hypocrite. Pretend to sing red-faced in front. Full of benevolence, righteousness, and morality. Borrow the story of Grandpa Lin Ping to establish a glorious image for oneself. Behind, the old fox immediately revealed its tail. Keep an eye on my position. And the Jia, Lu, and Yan families all sing praises to Yi Zhonghai. Ha! Yi Zhonghai is calculating for his retirement and has already appointed Jia Dongxu. It's not your turn to have your son. At this moment, Yang Ruihua, the three aunties who had just come out of the public restroom, saw Lin Chen in the distance. Immediately shouted out. Lin Chen, have you returned from the political review? The sound immediately caught the attention of everyone at the entrance of the courtyard. Lin Chen could no longer hide and had to walk towards the entrance of the courtyard. Yi Zhonghai was a little surprised to see Lin Chen return so quickly. Immediately, there was a chill in the bottom of my eyes. According to the plan, continue to smear Lin Chen. Subsequently, Yi Zhonghai immediately pretended to be concerned and asked. Lin Chen, you're back, don't be sad. It's not your fault. Your grandfather colluded with the enemy and was imprisoned, causing you to fail the political review and lose your position. It's not your fault. Upon hearing Yi Zhonghai's malicious guidance, the neighbors around suddenly exploded. Sleeping slot. What did I hear? Collaborating with the enemy. Surprisingly, that old man Lin Ping was imprisoned for colluding with the enemy. That's a crime of enemy espionage and treason. I knew the Lin family was not a good person, no wonder they joined the logistics department of the Public Security Bureau so easily. It turned out to be enemy agents and dog traders. The descendants of such people are not good either. Upon hearing this, Jia Zhang jumped the most fiercely. This damn thing, from the time their grandfather and grandson moved into a courtyard house, I knew it wasn't a good thing. It turned out to be an enemy spy. They blinded those two good houses in the front yard for nothing. Jia Dongxu, on the other hand, tugged at Jia Zhang and pretended to be a good person, learning from an old man named Yi Zhonghai. Mom, it's not Lin Chen's fault for this. Lin Chen, don't be sad either. It was your grandfather who colluded with the enemy and went to jail, causing you to fail the political review and not be able to take up your position. I think it's better to give up your position, and everyone will remember you. Upon hearing this, Jia Zhang's triangular eyes turned and he immediately smiled happily. Clap your palms and speak. Right, right. Lin Chen, it's not your fault. Your position is useless anyway, why not give it to my son? My Jia family will definitely remember your kindness. Also, if you lose your job, you'll starve to death in the 4 or 9 cities. Aunt Jia advised you to give up your house and go back to the countryside. Qin Huiru, who was hiding on the side, heard this and her eyes lit up imperceptibly. If Dongxu were to switch to a cadre position, our family would receive Lin Chen's 2 more rooms, and the housing would be spacious. Ha! That's it. It is indeed aimed at my position and house. And the shameless Jia family wants both. Lin Chen sneered coldly. Immediately speak up. My grandfather did indeed go to jail, but it's not a crime. And who says if there's a problem with my political review, it means I can't pass the political review and my position is not guaranteed. Wow. Lin Chen's words instantly caused a stir in the entire audience. Having been in prison, isn't it a crime? What's the logic behind this? Your grandfather is colluding with the enemy and betraying the country. He is an enemy spy, don't you know? Enemy agents are going to be arrested and shot, your grandfather died early. You are a descendant of enemy spies. How could you possibly pass the political review? How could you possibly secure your position? At this moment, Qin Huiru, with sharp eyes, saw a photo held in Lin Chen's hand and immediately pulled at Raja Zhang, gesturing. Jia Zhang's triangular eyes immediately stared at the half-shot photo exposed in Lin Chen's hand. Above is Grandpa Lin Chen. Jia Zhang shouted loudly as if he had discovered a new continent. Lin Chen, you're still cunning. The photo in your hand is not just a photo of your grandfather serving his sentence in prison. Look at these handcuffs and ankle shackles, as well as the word death on the prison uniform. The evidence is as solid as a mountain. Jia Zhang's words once again ignited the whole audience, and everyone rushed to look over. P.S. New book, has anyone read this topic? Kneel down and beg the masters to collect. Kneel down and beg for 500 fresh flowers. A reward. Kneeling for evaluation votes. Kneeling down for a monthly pass. Kneeling down for book reviews. The new book period data is crucial for the life and death of this book, and it is very important. Boss, you must vote. If it's really not possible, just click in the comments section. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Exposure of photos of dead prisoners serving their sentences. Lin Chenjiang. You are listening at novel full.audio. Chapter 5. Exposure of photos of dead prisoners serving their sentences. Lin Chen will take advantage of the situation. Seeking collection, in just an instant, everyone saw that half of the photo clearly. The scene suddenly erupted into lively discussions. Indeed, it was when Grandpa Lin Chen was middle-aged. Isn't this a photo of him serving his sentence? These colorful and handcuffed ankle shackles look really scary. How big a crime has he committed? Do you still say that imprisonment is not a crime? Why handcuffs and ankle shackles if there is no crime? And there are bloodstains all over the body, only enemy agents can receive such treatment. That's it. The evidence is as solid as a mountain. With this photo of serving a sentence, if Lin Chen's political trial can pass, I'll eat shit. You're shameless and dare to ask how our position is not guaranteed. You look at the prison uniform with the word death on it, isn't that a crime? I don't even believe in killing it. At this moment. Seeing Lin Chen's stubbornness, Yi Zhonghai timely repaired his knife in the crowd. If I read the word death on the prison uniform correctly, it means death row inmate. The scene exploded again. Death row inmate. Oh my goodness. Isn't this a crime? It's a capital offense. Iron evidence is like a mountain. Even if Lin Chen spoke up today, he wouldn't be able to secure that position, and even this kid's life would be ruined. Why do descendants of death row inmates occupy cadre positions? They must be allowed out. Our hospital cannot accommodate any descendants of enemy spies or executed prisoners, which affects our hospital's selection of advanced titles. We must reclaim the house and drive them back to the countryside. Jia Zhangshi, Jia Dongxu, Lu Haizhong, and others spat and continued to create a buzz. Yi Zhonghai, hiding behind the crowd, carried his hands behind his back, with a cunning and calculating expression on his face, as if he had a clear chance of winning. Lin Chen looked coldly at the animals in front of him. Sure enough, it's a courtyard full of birds. To seize one's own position and house, resorting to any means possible. Lin Chen put away the photo and sneered around the crowd. At present, we are outnumbered by the enemy, and the system has not yet been activated. We are not currently an opponent alone. We must shift the battlefield, take advantage of the situation, and find a place that benefits me. Lin Chen immediately thought of the street office. Director Wang of the street office participated in her political review and was most aware of the situation. Moreover, one sentence from her is worth 10 of her own. It is also the best way to punish these animals. Think of it here. Lin Chen decided to stick to the plan. It seems that no matter what I say, it's useless. Do I have to give up my position? A house. Move out of a courtyard house and go back to the countryside. That's right. That's right. That's right. Jia Zhang, Jia Dongxu, Lu Haizhong and others loudly agreed. Those who are aware of current affairs are heroes. Lin Chen, you still have consciousness. There's no need to hold a meeting at the right time and make you look bad. It's better to take the initiative, and everyone will remember your kindness. Yi Zhonghai spoke again. A dignified appearance, considering you with hypocrisy and righteousness. Lin Chen's face immediately showed a gloomy expression. Then, he let out a deep sigh. A face of giving up and muttering to oneself. What Grandpa said is indeed true. Grandpa has left, and I have no attachment here. Subsequently, Lin Chen continued as if he had made a major decision. All right. Grandpa, who will I assign this position to? Who will I give the house to? You write something clearly, let's go to the street together to apply for a certificate, sign a letter, and we can truly get it into your hands. Right. Upon hearing this, Jia Zhang and Jia Dongxu almost jumped with joy. So simple. Lin Chen handed over his position and house. My goodness. The pie is falling from the sky. This fool really let it out with an arch of his hand. It's really foolish. Qinhuai Ru is also overjoyed. But I always feel like this seems too easy, right? What seems to be wrong? And Lu Haizhong and Yan Bugue were also pleasantly surprised. But Yan Bugue seemed a bit impatient, just thinking about the work and marriage of his eldest son Yan Jiqing next to him. I can only pretend to be deaf and mute, and silently give up. Yi Zhonghai was momentarily stunned. So easy. Hand over directly. Go to the street to get a certificate. There seems to be something wrong. But it seems that if you want to adopt a new position or house, the street office needs to obtain a certificate. With this ironclad evidence, it is impossible for Lin Chen to backtrack in the future. Moreover, with his own presence and the presence of 3 elders, Lin Chen spoke softly and couldn't make any waves. To avoid long dreams at night, take advantage of this foolish boy's short circuit in his mind and quickly cut through the chaos and get this matter done. When the time comes, this silly kid won't even cry. Lin Chen is still a child who understands righteousness and is much better than your grandfather. Yi Zhonghai has once again begun to act hypocritically and morally upright. Don't worry, if you give up your position and house, all of us in the courtyard will remember your kindness. If you encounter any difficulties when you return to the countryside, feel free to mention them. The 3 masters in the courtyard are your backers. Lin Chen, please wait a moment, we will draft it soon. As Yi Zhonghai spoke, he quickly went back to draft the document. The Jia, Lu, and Yan families were like dogs smelling the smell of meat buns and immediately followed suit. One by one, they were afraid of slowing down half a step. This is a crucial moment for dividing the spoils. Soon. There came the sound of Jia Zhang splashing, the roar and the bangs, and the argument of Yan Bugue. However, it was quickly pressed down by Yi Zhonghai. Write the name of the cadre position as Jia Dongxu. Jia Dongxu's position at the steel rolling mill will come out and he will pay them. And the 2 houses are separated into 1 big and 2 small, with Jia Dongxu occupying the larger one and the other 2 occupying the smaller one. For now, let's divide it this way. The Jia family became a big winner. The Lu and Yan families also gained some benefits. And with this, Yi Zhonghai can make Jia Dongxu wholeheartedly retire for himself. More capable of kidnapping and wooing the Lu and Yan families, standing in line for oneself, waving flags and shouting. From now on, this courtyard will cover the sky with only 1 hand. Yi Zhonghai is indeed cunning and calculating, and the greatest benefit is still his own. P.S. New book, has anyone read this topic? Kneel down and beg the masters to collect. Kneel down and beg for 500 fresh flowers. A reward. Kneeling for evaluation votes. Kneeling down for a monthly pass. Kneeling down for book reviews. The new book period data is crucial for the life and death of this book, and it is very important. Boss, you must vote. If it's really not possible, just click in the comment section. Chapter 6. Yi Zhonghai. Neighborhood of number 95 Courtyard. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Yi Zhonghai. The neighbors in Courtyard 95 are too harmonious. Seeking collection soon. Yi Zhonghai, Lin Chen, as well as the Jia family, Lu family, Yan family, and a group of neighbors in the courtyard who were watching the excitement, went straight to the Nanluo Guxiang Street office in a grand manner. In the crowd, There were also some subtle noises, and Lin Chen was a fool in laughter. He's a spendthrift. Being deceived like this, the Lin family was defeated. After hearing this, Yi Zhonghai immediately stopped drinking quietly. Afraid of waking up Lin Chen, Qin Huiru looked at Lin Chen's thin and emaciated figure. I am grateful that regretting my marriage was a 100% right thing to do. Lin Chen, a poor boy from the countryside, really can't be supported. Now it's even more foolish to send out positions and houses. If I follow him, I'm afraid I'll have bad luck. Now it's okay, I'm following Dongxu. The cadre position and the house are all owned by my Jia family. The good days ahead are just around the corner. Qin Huiru's heart was filled with anticipation. The group had just arrived at the street office when they saw Director Wang holding a paper tube made of announcements and preparing to post them. Director Wang, are you there? We need to report something to you about our courtyard on the 95th. Could you please help us with a certificate? Yi Zhonghai is at the forefront. Come to Director Wang. Speak respectfully. And the second uncle, Lu Haizhong, immediately bowed forward with a flattering expression on his face. Director Wang, is this an announcement? Do you want to post it? There's no need for you to do this yourself. Come on, I'll help you post it. Seeing the official in the bangs, I realized that my body was slightly shorter. He shamelessly approached and flattered others, hoping to establish a relationship and secure a high position for himself. However, Director Wang doesn't even look at him. I got a nose full of dust in my bangs. Director Wang glanced at Yi Zhonghai, then saw Lin Chen and the neighbors in the courtyard. Director Wang also hesitated for a moment. Immediately, he looked at Yi Zhonghai with a serious expression on his face. Lao Yi, what are you doing? Why are all your yard neighbors here? Then, seeing Lin Chen in front of the crowd, he immediately spoke with a soft gaze. Lin Chen, you're here too. You've been preparing well at home lately, and the procurement process is actually simple. If you don't understand, you can go to the street office to ask. Oh, by the way, if there are any difficulties at home, just let me know. The street office can definitely help. This scene of changing faces before and after let Yi Zhonghai feel a bit anxious inside. What is the situation? I am the master of the courtyard at number 95, and you have chosen me. Why are you so serious to me and so polite to Lin Chen? And what did Director Wang just mean? Prepare well at home. What about procurement? Is that so? Yi Zhonghai had a slight premonition in his heart. If it's too late, things will change. Hurry up and settle this matter. Lao Yi, Lao Yi. Yi Zhonghai, what are you fooling about? What are you doing with all the neighbors in the courtyard? In an instant, Director Wang woke up Yi Zhonghai with a serious expression, who was still in a daze. Oh. Director Wang, it's like this. Lin Chen from our hospital felt hopeless due to his grandfather's imprisonment, which affected the outcome of the political review. This child is a bit disheartened. Moreover, this child is filial and his grandfather has passed away. He doesn't want to stay in this sad place and plans to move back to the countryside. He didn't want to waste the position he held, he just wanted our neighbors in the courtyard to be friendly and harmonious. So he asked me to give it to the other neighbors in the yard, and at the same time, he also asked me to share the 2 houses in the front yard with the other neighbors in the yard who had tight housing. Lin Chen is a sincere child, thinking that everyone has been kind to him. Before leaving, he also wants to repay him. So, he came here specifically. Please take a certificate and secure the position and room for that position. Of course, our hospital won't forget him either. If Lin Chen has any difficulties in the countryside in the future, just mention it. Our 3 elders and neighbors are his backers. Yi Zhonghai's face is not red and his heart is not jumping. Now he has compiled a set of noble, emotional and righteous reasons. He also portrayed the entire neighborhood as loving, harmonious, and friendly under his management. I could hear Lu Haizhong, Yan Bugui, Qin Huairu and others behind me sweat profusely. Lin Chen watched coldly, his eyes full of coldness. Yi Zhonghai is indeed full of benevolence, righteousness, and morality, with a hypocritical expression on his face. He is also skilled in cunning calculation, moral kidnapping, and confusing the public. Shamelessly orchestrating so many grandiose reasons for this matter. It's really ridiculous. Subsequently, Yi Zhonghai immediately placed the drafted document paper in front of Director Wang. Sign your name solemnly. Then, hand the pen to Lin Chen. She spoke with a smile on her face. Lin Chen, it's time for you to sign. Now that Director Wang has certified us, you can put your heart in your stomach. Our neighbors in the courtyard will all remember your kindness. If there are difficulties returning to the countryside, let's just say, this is your mother's house. Yi Zhonghai continues to play emotional cards, disgusting. Some unknown people in the street office were even moved when they saw this place. The neighbors in Courtyard 95 are so harmonious and touching. Love each other and be a family. This is the example of our courtyard house in Nanluo Guxiang Hutong. This year's selection of advanced can give priority to this courtyard house. This old man is also a role model, always considering the whole hospital, helping the elderly and children, helping neighbors, working hard and doing his best. I think the selection of the street office old man last year is good. Yi Zhonghai himself felt a bit embarrassed. Did you go too far with what you just said? However, there was an expression on his face that was devoted to him and worthy of the people. However, at this moment, Director Wang frowned and looked at Yi Zhonghai with an incredulous expression, then at Lin Chen. Stop with a loud shout. Wait. Immediately, he reached out and snatched the drafting document from Yi Zhonghai's hand. Frown and look. P.S. New book, has anyone read this topic? Kneel down and beg the masters to collect. Kneel down and beg for 500 fresh flowers. A reward. Kneeling for evaluation votes. Kneeling down for a monthly pass. Kneeling down for book reviews. The new book period data is crucial for the life and death of this book, and it is very important. Boss, you must vote. If it's really not possible, just click in the comment section. Chapter 7. Imprisoning oneself in enemy prisons before the founding of the country. It's colluding with the enemy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Imprisoning oneself in enemy prisons before the founding of the country. Is it colluding with the enemy or the Communist Party? Seeking collection. Lin Chen didn't say a word. He only needs to watch the play. Because Director Wang will naturally seek justice for himself. Sometimes, slaughtering birds doesn't necessarily have to be done by oneself. Director Wang frowned tightly. Staring at this absurd drafting document, anger appeared in his eyes. Staring fiercely at Yi Zhonghai, angrily rebuking him. Yi Zhonghai, what were you talking nonsense about just now? What is this writing about? Lin Chen's top position will be unconditionally transferred to Jia Dongxu. Are the 2 rooms in the Lin family's front yard unconditionally transferred to the Jia, Lu, and Yan families? How dare you even try to seize the positions of martyrs' descendants in a dignified manner under my nose? Real estate. Drive them back to the countryside. You guys are so brave. As soon as this sentence is spoken, the whole room was filled with silence and silence. Lu Haizhong, Dama, Lu Guangqi, Yan Bugui, San Dama, Yan Jicheng, Jia Dongxu, Qin Huairu, and others all had a huge change in their faces, and their foreheads were sweating profusely. Everyone suddenly felt uneasy. Yi Zhonghai was also shocked. What's wrong with Director Wang? Don't you usually stand on my side? Why are you standing from Lin Chen's perspective today? Does she know anything? Yi Zhonghai's mind turned rapidly, contemplating countermeasures. And at this point, Jia Zhang, standing beside her, saw the fat on her hand about to fly and immediately became anxious. Director Wang, this was previously agreed upon with Lin Chen, and Yi Zhonghai had already made it very clear just now. Grandpa Lin Chen colluded with the enemy and was imprisoned, but he is still a dead prisoner. Where is the martyr's family? He cannot pass the political review now, and there is no hope of taking up his position. His position has been handed over to our family's Dongxu, and the house has also been given up. This is a matter of certainty, you can't interfere. My Jia family is still counting on Dongxu as a cadre position. Before Jia Zhang could finish speaking, he was constantly reminded by Qin Huairu behind him not to speak. Jia Dongxu also pulled his own mother. Jia Zhang was interrupted by two people. Suddenly, there was a surge of energy in my heart. Qin Huairu, what clothes are you pulling? This position and the house belong to my Jia family. Who wants to stir them up? I'm not finished with anyone. Jia Zhang sternly said with some meaning. Qin Huairu hid behind Dongxu, with a face of shame and embarrassment, and a heart full of scolding. How did I stand up with such a pig teammate? Yi Zhonghai also twitched his lips and looked speechless. What a pig teammate. You are the real agitator, and not only did you stir it up, but you also ordered a firefight. Hey, as expected. Director Wang became even more angry when he heard Jia Zhang's wild words and lies. Coming forward is a slap. Fan Jia Zhang to one side. Give you face. Run here and be wild with me. Jia Zhang was pulled aside and was completely stunned. I was about to rush up and roll around when I suddenly realized that this was Director Wang from the street office. The person with the greatest power in the entire Nanluo Guxiang Hutong. I didn't pay attention just now and started arguing with her. Jia Zhang felt a bit scared when she thought about it now. Immediately cover your cheeks and be honest. I dare not even jump out of my butt. After finishing the fight, Director Wang didn't even look at Jia and Zhang, but stared at Yi Zhonghai and spoke. Yi Zhonghai, you keep talking about Grandpa Lin Chen colluding with the enemy and going to jail. Dead prisoners. Who told you? Still saying that Lin Chen couldn't pass the political review and had no hope of taking up his position. Where did he come from? Did you go to the political review site? Or did I go to the political review site? Yi Zhonghai, Qin Huairu, Jia Dongxu, Lu Haizhong, Yan Bugue and others immediately looked at each other. So, Director Wang went to the political review site. Yi Zhonghai's face changed and his heart turned sour. After all, the previous statement that Lin Chen could not pass the political review and had no hope of taking up the position was based on our speculation and estimation based on Lin Chen's expression. Moreover, there is also a photo in Lin Chen's hand as evidence. Are there any variables here? By the way, iron evidence. Think of it here. Yi Zhonghai quickly spoke confidently. Director Wang, Lin Chen has a photo of his grandfather serving time in prison as evidence, and he is still wearing the clothes of a dead prisoner. With such ironclad evidence, the political review will definitely not pass, and there is no hope of taking up the position. Director Wang immediately thought of that photo upon hearing it. There was a hint of respect in my eyes. Then he said in silence. Yi Zhonghai, do you just rely on a photo and think that's ironclad evidence? If I say, the prison uniforms of the death row inmates in this photo are not from our prison, but from enemy prisons before the founding of the country. Boom. Everyone's brains exploded in an instant. The death row inmates' uniforms in enemy prisons before the founding of the People's Republic of China. Being imprisoned in enemy prisons. Did this commit the enemy's death penalty? How come I feel like my brain can't use it? This does seem a bit convoluted. Yi Zhonghai also pondered deeply. What kind of crime is this? Collaborate with the enemy. Treason. How can collaborators be imprisoned in the enemy's own prison? Can this be called colluding with the enemy? Shouldn't this be called Tonggong? Hush. Tonggong. Yi Zhonghai seems to have thought of something. My face turned pale instantly. Not only Yi Zhonghai, but also Qin Huiru's face changed, her pupils tightened, as if she had guessed something. Jia Zhang covered her cheeks and murmured softly. Being locked in the enemy's own prison is also a crime, isn't it? Moreover, Lin Ping, the death row inmate, actually appeared in our courtyard later on. Does that prove that he is still a fugitive from prison? Can we add another felony? Qin Huiru's face showed a bitter smile. This mother.in.law was not only a pig teammate, but also a pig brain. Qin Huiru reluctantly stabbed Jia Dongxu. Jia Dongxu immediately understood and stopped his mother from making random guesses. At this moment, the second uncle scratched his head in his bangs. Seeing the confusion of the crowd, I immediately felt that this was a good time to talk to Director Wang. Immediately stood up with a big belly. Yi Zhonghai, don't you understand what Director Wang said? It's easy to understand. Before the founding of the People's Republic of China, I was imprisoned in the enemy's own prison and was still a death row inmate, committing the crime of colluding with the enemy. This is not just standing on the side of the enemy and helping them, it's us. Lu Haizhong was instantly stunned by his own inference. He was even more frightened by the last two words, trembling and trembling all over. What do you push yourself to make? How to say that Lin usually shares the Communist Party? Isn't this praising him? The Bangs are in a hurry, just about to explain. I heard Director Wang speak decisively. That's right. It's the Communist Party. Lu Haizhong was right. The Bangs were immediately dumbfounded. Am I right about this? Lu Haizhong, aren't you going to help me post the announcement? It happens that this announcement needs to be posted in a timely manner. Director Wang handed the long scroll announcement in his hand to Lu Haizhong. Lu Haizhong finally woke up from his fear and came to the bulletin board with the announcement, trembling and posting it. Just when Lu Haizhong was posting, he accidentally saw the content of the announcement, and was instantly scared to the point of shortness of breath and a pale complexion. P.S. New book, has anyone read this topic? Kneel down and beg the masters to collect. Kneel down and beg for 500 fresh flowers. A reward. Kneeling for evaluation votes. Kneeling down for a monthly pass. Kneeling down for book reviews. The new book period data is crucial for the life and death of this book, and it is very important. Boss, you must vote. If it's really not possible, just click in the comment section. Chapter 8. Justice should be returned to you, I will definitely demand it from you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. The justice that should be returned to you will definitely be recovered. Seeking collection, only illiterate Jia Zhang, seeing the Bangs and everyone staring at the announcement, immediately looked dissatisfied. What's good about this broken announcement? One by one, their eyes were still wide open, as if seeing the heavenly King Laozi. Is there a position inside? Do you have a house? Hurry up and help my son get his job and house over. Jia Zhang quickly looked at Yi Zhonghai. I saw Yi Zhonghai staring intently at the announcement, his eyes widened, and sweat oozed from his forehead. What's wrong with Yi Zhonghai? Scared like this by a broken announcement? Can the announcement still eat you? Jia Zhang spat and then looked at his son Jia Dongxu. Jia Dongxu also stared at the announcement, his face dumbfounded and even his body trembling. Son, what's wrong with you? Are you cold? Jia Zhang stepped forward to show concern. However, Jia Dongxu didn't pay any attention to Jia Zhang's family. I was shut out. Jia Zhang could only look at his wife Qin Huiru. Qin Huairu, however, had a worried expression on her face, scanning the announcement haphazardly but unable to see anything. Only then did Jia Zhang understand. Qin Huairu is not much more illiterate than herself, and she doesn't know many big characters. She probably only knows the names of male and female toilets. However, quickly, Qin Huairu approached the third master Yan Bugui and whispered about the content of the announcement. After all, Yan Bugui is a primary school teacher who knows a lot of words. After hearing the content, Qin Huairu's face turned pale. On the notice posted by Lu Haizhong, there was a clarification statement about Comrade Lin Ping being reported and imprisoned. Firstly, Comrade Lin Ping did indeed serve in prison and was arrested by the Japanese puppet Imperial Alliance in March 1941 before the founding of the People's Republic of China, and imprisoned in the Imperial Alliance prison in Manzhouli. Thirdly, the main reason for Comrade Lin Ping's arrest this time was that on February 1941, 20,000 members of the Imperial Alliance were surrounded and annihilated by our party. Fourthly, Comrade Lin Ping was arrested for two main reasons. From 1931 to 1941, he was ordered to infiltrate the Imperial Alliance and became a confidential secretary, successfully providing 489 important military intelligence. After reading the announcement, it's not just about bangs. All the neighbors in the room were fried in the pan at once. Oh my! It's really the enemy's prison before the founding of the People's Republic of China. The Japanese puppet Imperial Army prison, isn't it all where our people are detained? Moreover, it's also a place where important members of our party are detained. How do you feel both unfamiliar and familiar when you see these three words co-crime. Tong Gong. My eyes were moist, and I thought of the heroic martyr Hulan, who lived a great life and died a glorious death. If going to jail for communism is a stain, this stain may turn red and black. Did you see the main cause? How did I get so excited when I saw this? I got goosebumps all over. Lin Ping planned to besiege and annihilate the 20,000-day Imperial Alliance army. He also leaked 489 important battle reports. Isn't this super great credit? This is a great hero of our party. Lin Ping's family has been so low-key in our hospital for the past 2 years. It turns out that he is such a great ancestor. Lin Ping has suffered for the cause of building a country. After hearing the discussion, Zhonghai, Qin Huairu, Jia Dongxu, Yan Bugui, Yan Jicheng, Lu Guangqi and others were all scared and soaked, sweating profusely. One by one, their hearts were startled and their faces turned pale. Yi Zhonghai wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and felt his heart beating twice as fast. This is terrible. It seems like I kicked the iron plate. At this moment, Yi Zhonghai's face was full of embarrassment, eager to find a crack in the ground to crawl in. Qin Huairu's heart was pricked even harder. It's over. This position and house are gone. And perhaps Lin Chen did not use his grandfather's previous contributions to turn things around and achieve great success from then on, did he? Qin Huairu, who despises poverty and loves wealth, seems to have a hint of regret in her heart at this moment. Lu Haizhong and Yan Bugui each kept their necks shut, never daring to mention the matter of that position or house again. Even Jia Zhang, who had been chattering incessantly just now, was so frightened that she shut up and didn't speak when she heard everyone's discussion. Lin Chen saw the behavior of the birds and his face sneered even more. Now each one has become a turtle grandson. Where did the arrogant and domineering energy go just now? Aren't you trying to grab my job and house and drive me to the countryside? Keep going. I am very cooperative. However, at this moment, no one dares to mention anything about their position or house. Director Wang looked at the expressions on everyone's faces, sighed, and then came to Lin Chen. With a hint of apology on his face, he said gently. Lin Chen, I didn't expect you to suffer such injustice. It was our late posting of the announcement, which was a mistake in our work. Don't worry, we should give you justice. Aunt Wang will definitely get it back for you. P.S. New book, has anyone read this topic? Kneel down and beg the masters to collect. Kneel down and beg for 500 fresh flowers. A reward. Kneeling for evaluation votes. Kneeling down for a monthly pass. Kneeling down for book reviews. The new book period data is crucial for the life and death of this book, and it is very important. Boss, you must vote. If it's really not possible, just click in the comments section. Is the drafting of Chapter 9 a physical evidence? Lin Chen, this kid. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is the drafting of Chapter 9 a physical evidence? Lin Chen, this kid has already taken action. Seeking collection. Upon hearing this, Lin Chen nodded silently. Director Wang truly understands righteousness and knows what to do. The leadership ideology within this system is highly conscious, and they are also sensible and able to distinguish right from wrong. The trick just now was a gamble. Aunt Wang, there's nothing wrong with being wronged. It's just that we can't let anyone tarnish my grandfather's reputation, let alone let some villain's scheme succeed. Lin Chen has some suggestions. Director Wang also understood. Yi Zhonghai and a few others suddenly drum it in their hearts, shouting inwardly that it was terrible. As expected. Subsequently, Director Wang looked at Yi Zhonghai and spoke coldly. Yi Zhonghai, have you finished reading the announcement? Do you have anything else to say? Yi Zhonghai felt uneasy when he saw Director Wang's clear attitude towards Lin Chen and himself. However, Director Wang couldn't help but answer his questions, so he had to grit his teeth and answer. That. Director Wang, it turns out that Grandpa Lin Chen was imprisoned like this. Ah, look, this is all a misunderstanding, we misunderstood Grandpa Lin Chen. This is a great hero, a revolutionary ancestor, and we don't have time to respect him. How dare we desecrate or insult him? Actually, we also had some good intentions before, thinking that Grandpa Lin Chen would leave and help him share the worries. Since it doesn't affect the political review now, then the positions. Let's take back the drafting document and treat it as if this didn't happen. Yi Zhonghai, a cunning and calculating guy, is best at understanding depth and understanding progress and retreat. Seeing something bad, immediately drum up and collect the money. Want to escape? Unfortunately, it's too late. At this moment, Yi Zhonghai was still thinking of fooling around with Lin Chen. Immediately looked at Lin Chen and pretended to be sorry. Lin Chen, we didn't understand the situation before. Don't take what you said to heart. Our courtyard is a loving, friendly, and harmonious collective. Everyone is very sensible, and if there is anything wrong, everyone can understand each other. If you pass the political review this time and succeed in your position, everyone will be happy for you. Let's turn over this matter. On the one hand, Yi Zhonghai is indifferent, and on the other hand, he is morally kidnapping Lin Chen, hoping to get this thing out of his way. If Lin Chen doesn't understand, that's unreasonable, not friendly and harmonious neighbors. It has to be said. Yi Zhonghai's methods are indeed a bit advanced. But how could Lin Chen possibly agree? The key is, Director Wang is even more unlikely to agree. So, didn't she just say that seeking justice was just a piece of nonsense? Lin Chen snorted coldly. A hint of playfulness appeared at the corner of the mouth. This made Yi Zhonghai feel a little uneasy. This kid can't hold back any bad moves, can he? Before Lin Chen could retaliate, Yi Zhonghai heard Director Wang speak up. Director Wang looked serious and scolded as he stared at Yi Zhonghai. Yi Zhonghai, do you want to just casually handle this matter and get away with it? Do you still want to withdraw this drafting document? This is physical evidence, shouldn't you just take it back if you can? Yi Zhonghai was suddenly shocked. It's broken. It's broken. Does this drafting document become physical evidence? Is this to hold accountable? This is really troublesome. Not only are there names of Jia Dongxu, Lu Haizhong, Yan Bugui, and others on it, but also my own signature. Just now I said Lin Chen is holding back his bad moves, so he has already used them. This drafting document was a trap he set, and it was his own effort to facilitate it. Oh no. At that time, we were in a state of joy, but I didn't expect this kid to be pushing us forward by setting a trap, and now he's even taking advantage of it. What a carelessness this guy has been. Low-key since coming to the courtyard for the past 2 years. He has been ostracized and suffered losses by the Jia family in the courtyard without saying a word, as if he has a personality that is easily manipulated and dragged by others. How did it suddenly rise this time? Still quietly luring oneself and others into it. Yi Zhonghai felt uneasy in his heart. Think hard and find a way to solve the problem. The faces of Lu Haizhong, Yan Bugui, Jia Dongxu, Qin Huairu and others on the side also changed dramatically, with inner fear. This is terrible. I thought I could get Lin Chen's position in house through this drafting document. But now it has become evidence that we have cleverly seized. What should we do? Director Wang, this is just a misunderstanding and cannot be taken seriously. Yi Zhonghai tried to argue insincerely. However, Director Wang mercilessly interrupted his speech. Speak coldly again. Yi Zhonghai, is everything pushed onto misunderstandings? Half an hour before you came, the street office had just received a report letter and announcement about Grandpa Lin Chen from the Public Security Bureau. The report letter was sent by Jia Zhang. Do you know about this, Yi Zhonghai? Lin Chen's eyes stiffened. As expected. I can guess 8 or 9 without leaving 10. Indeed, it was reported by the Jia and Zhang families of the Jia family. Upon hearing this, Yi Zhonghai was even more shocked. Director Wang actually directly revealed the matter of the report letter. I also know that it was Jia Zhang who reported it, but I am even more suspicious of myself. This is really bad. This is determined to help Lin Chen regain justice. P.S. New book, has anyone read this topic? Kneel down and beg the masters to collect. Kneel down and beg for 500 fresh flowers. A reward. Kneeling for evaluation votes. Kneeling down for a monthly pass. Kneeling down for book reviews. The new book period data is crucial for the life and death of this book, and it is very important. Boss, you must vote. If it's really not possible, just click in the comment section. Chapter 10. Pig teammates kill each other. Leave the police station. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Pig teammates kill each other. Let's take a trip to the police station. Seeking collection. Director Wang, this matter. Yi Zhonghai thought, should we protect the car and abandon the pawn? Push Jia Zhang out to take the blame. Before he could speak, Jia Zhang was scared to death over there. When Jia Zhang heard Director Wang say that the report letter was sent by herself, she was immediately frightened and her face changed dramatically. Wave your hands repeatedly. This is not my business, it's not my business. Director Wang quickly rebuked. Jia Zhang, what's none of your business? You sent a report letter to the Public Security Bureau, and it was registered and filed. Defamating revolutionary predecessors, collaborating with children, and others to seize martyrs' positions and property, can you escape? Stimulated by Director Wang. Jia Zhang was so frightened that she sat down on the ground, slapping her thighs and crying loudly. Lao Jia. I'm not alive anymore, they want to arrest me. This is really not my business. This report was sent by Yi Zhonghai to me. I don't know a single character, and I don't know what it says. You can't arrest good people indiscriminately. Jia Zhang was in a hurry. For self-protection, don't worry too much, shake off Yi Zhonghai and push him out to block the gun. Lin Chen sneered coldly. Sure enough, Yi Zhonghai is the leading behind-the-scenes military strategist, and Jia Zhangshi, Jia Dongxu, and others are likely to charge into battle. Who knew there were pig teammates in the team, so I couldn't take them with me. Yi Zhonghai took a deep breath. I was so angry that I almost spewed blood and fainted on the spot. This pig like Jia Zhang actually guards and abandons the car. You gave me up. Tired, destroy it. Qin Huairu beside her also twitched at the corner of her mouth and sighed on her forehead. This silly mother.in.law, isn't it just a confession? Confess Yi Zhonghai and end it together. It's just a bunch of stupid moves coming out. Qin Huairu quickly urged Jia Dongxu, whose scalp was tingling, to stop his mother from talking nonsense. And now she can't hide behind either, she has to grit her teeth and come out to help. Director Wang, my mother talks nonsense without hesitation. This must have nothing to do with an old man. She doesn't recognize big characters, and she doesn't even know the report letter. Before Qin Huairu could finish speaking, she was silenced by Director Wang's majestic gaze. This report is not related to Yi Zhonghai, we have our own discretion. Subsequently, Director Wang raised his hand to draft the document and continued speaking. Yi Zhonghai, let me ask you, who wrote this drafting document? Yi Zhonghai was stunned for a moment. Previously, at the entrance of the courtyard, Yi Zhonghai led Jia Dongxu and others into the house. Yi Zhonghai hid a hand. Prepare to hide behind and let others write. Even if there is a problem, it has nothing to do with oneself. I was originally planning to give him a piece of the bangs to write about. It's even harder to write than to climb the sky. Subsequently, we plan to have the cultured Yan Bugue write on his behalf, and transfer the risk to him. However, Yan Bugue said that he could write, but the position must be given to his son. Yi Zhonghai certainly doesn't do it. The Jia family doesn't do it either. Jia Zhang was the first to jump out and oppose. This is the roar of Jia Zhang's family and the argument of Yan Bugue that I heard before. Finally, Jia Zhang fully supports her son Jia Dongxu in writing. Jia Dongxu also volunteered and rushed to write for himself. Because according to Yan Bugue's previous words, whoever writes about that cadre position is their own. Jia Dongxu is really eager. Yi Zhonghai felt a bit worried because he had also asked Jia Dongxu to write the previous report letter. Let him write both of these. Will there be no problem, right? Yi Zhonghai originally intended to obstruct, but Jia Dongxu had already rushed to start writing and drafting the document. At this moment, Director Wang asked who wrote this drafting document, but Yi Zhonghai was a bit puzzled. Jia Dongxu is his own disciple, so naturally we need to protect him. Just thinking about how to answer. Director Wang couldn't wait any longer and immediately looked at the two other signatories on the drafting document. This drafting document is a physical evidence, now give you a chance to redeem yourself. Your names Lu Haizhong and Yan Bugue are all on it. Now who can tell me who wrote this drafting document? It can redeem you. Lu Haizhong and Yan Bugue, who had been restless and sweating profusely, heard of redeeming themselves. The two of them suddenly rejoiced. Lu Hai took a neutral step forward and spoke with a flattering bow. Director Wang, I know. This drafting document was personally written by Jia Dongxu, because whoever wrote this document will have the position assigned to them, and Jia Dongxu took over to write it. That's right, Director Wang. This drafting document was written by Jia Dongxu himself. Yan Bugue followed suit and spoke up, afraid of missing the opportunity to redeem himself. As for offending Yi Zhonghai. Jia family. Come on. Let's protect ourselves first. Director Wang is really angry this time. Yi Zhonghai, Jia Dongxu, Qin Huairu and others were all dumbfounded. Is this being divided and betrayed? Jia Zhang immediately became anxious when she heard that her son Dongxu had also been dragged in. With both hands akimbo, pointing at the nose of Lu Haizhong and Yan Bugue, he cursed as he spoke. You Lu Haizhong and Yan Bugue, who have killed thousands of dollars, are eager to share the spoils, fearing that they will be evenly distributed. If something happens now, I will betray my son to protect myself. I must tear your mouths today. As he spoke, he was about to reach out and scratch Lu Haizhong and Yan Bugui. The sea surface in Yi Zhong is bitter and has a deep sense of powerlessness. Qin Huairu also had a bitter smile on her face, speechless. Enough. Director Wang shouted sternly. Jia Zhang was so frightened that she dared not move. Wow. We're all here. We're all competing to share the spoils. Let's divide up the Lin family's positions and houses. The drafting document was written by Jia Dongxu. And the writing of the tip-off letter is the same as the drafting document. Needless to say, this tip-off letter was also written by Jia Dongxu. Yi Zhonghai's heart sank. Worried things have happened. Jia Dongxu was suddenly shocked. No, he wrote these reports and drafted documents. The former was instructed by Yi Zhonghai, while the latter was rushed to write by oneself. I didn't expect to push myself to the forefront of the storm now. Director Wang had a cold expression on his face. Jia Dongxu, Jia Zhangshi, Yi Zhonghai, Lu Haizhong, Yan Bugui, all those involved in reporting letters and drafting documents, please come to my police station. If there's anyone who doesn't want to go, then go with it. After Director Wang finished speaking, he glanced at the street office and immediately saw several staff members who usually handle disputes approaching Jia Zhang's family. P.S. New book, has anyone read this topic? Kneel down and beg the masters to collect. Kneel down and beg for 500 fresh flowers. A reward. Kneeling for evaluation votes. Kneeling down for a monthly pass. Kneeling down for book reviews. The new book period data is crucial for the life and death of this book, and it is very important. Boss, you must vote. If it's really not possible, just click in the comment section.